I am deeply honored to be standing here with all of you today, not because I am rich, not because I built a successful company, but because I have survived long enough to tell my story. There was a time when I was rejected from every job. There was a time when not a single investor believed in me. There was a time when my English wasn't good, my skills weren't sharp, and my confidence was zero. I was just a man with a dream nobody understood. You know, the funny thing about life is that people only see your glory, they forget your story, they see your success, but they don't ask how many failures it took to get here. They look at the peak of the mountain, but they never ask how many times you slipped on the way. Most people want the results, but very few want the journey. Success is never about talent alone, it is about resilience. It is about having the courage to continue when everything around you is collapsing. I learned this not in a classroom, but in life. When people ask me today, Jack, how did you become successful? They expect me to give them some magical formula. But the truth is not magical. It is painful. It is real. I failed more times than most people ever tried. I was rejected from Harvard 10 times. I couldn't get a job in KFC. Out of 24 applicants, 23 got hired. I was the only one who didn't. Every time I was told no, I learned something new. Every rejection is a blessing if you know how to use it. Every failure is a teacher if you are willing to listen. Most people want success without the struggle. They want the reward without the risk. They want the growth without the discomfort. But that's not how life works. The universe does not give easy blessings. Life tests your patience before it gives you your purpose. It tests your resilience before it gives you your reward. People say, Jack, you became a billionaire. I say, no, I became a believer. A believer in my dream when nobody else believed. A believer in my team when the world laughed. A believer in the future when the present was broken. That belief is my real wealth. Let me tell you something about the world. Most people are not poor because they don't have money. They are poor because they have no vision. They have no hunger. They have no desire to grow beyond what they already know. They want success to come to them. But success is not a visitor. Success is a hunter. It comes only to those who are prepared. And the preparation is not just on the outside. It's in the mind. Your mind is your greatest asset or your greatest enemy. If you control it, you succeed. If it controls you, you fail. When I speak to young people, I tell them, your biggest enemy is not the economy, not the government, not the job market. Your biggest enemy is your own fear. The moment you stop being afraid, you stop being average. The moment you bet on yourself, the world starts to notice. The moment you say, I decide my own future, you win the first battle. You don't need everyone to believe in you. You just need you. Because the truth is, people only believe in you when you succeed. But you must believe in yourself long before that. Innovation does not come from comfort. It comes from crisis. The best ideas are not born in luxury. They are born in necessity. People innovate when they have no choice. Alibaba was not built because we wanted to be famous. It was built because we had no money, no resources, no power, and we had no other choice except to innovate. Survival made us creative. The world didn't give us space, so we created our own. When life closes one door, it's not a sign to give up, it's a sign to build another door. Let me share something personal. I am not the smartest person in Alibaba. I am not the best coder. I am not the best engineer. I am not the best designer, but I am the best at believing in people. I hired people smarter than me, and I trusted them. Because great leaders don't need to be great at everything. They need to be great at seeing greatness in others. The best way to grow is to lift others up. When your team rises, you rise. When your people win, the company wins. Leadership is not about power. It is about responsibility. The world will always change. Technology will always evolve. But human beings will always be the key. Machines can replace hands, but they can never replace the heart. Machines can give answers, but they can never ask the right questions. The future is not just about artificial intelligence. The future is about emotional intelligence. The future belongs to people who know how to think, feel, and connect. That is why I always say, don't just work hard, work smart, work with heart, and work with people. Every time I meet young people, they ask me, Jack, how do I become successful? I ask them, why do you want to be successful? Because if your only goal is money, you will never find happiness. Money is a result, not a purpose. Real success is when you wake up and feel proud of what you do. Real success is when you solve a problem that others gave up on. Real success is when you create something that makes life better, not just for you, but for others. That is the only success worth fighting for. Let me give you a piece of advice. Stop comparing. The moment you compare, you lose focus. The moment you envy, you lose energy. Everyone has a different path, a different story, a different timing. Just because someone made it at 25 doesn't mean you are late at 35. Just because someone is rich doesn't mean they are fulfilled. You must focus on your journey. Your time will come, but only if you keep moving. Let me leave you with this. In life, there are 3 days that define your journey. Yesterday, which is your lesson. Today, which is your opportunity. And tomorrow, which is your promise. Don't get stuck in yesterday. Don't waste today, and don't fear tomorrow. The future belongs to the brave. The world is waiting for you. Don't just live, lead. Don't just dream, build. Don't just wish, work. People ask me all the time, Jack, what is the secret to success? And I always tell them the same answer. There is no secret. Success is not a gift. It is not inherited. It is earned. It is built. Failure by failure, lesson by lesson, day by day. The world will try to tell you that success comes from luck, from connections, from money. But I have seen countless smart people fail and countless ordinary people rise. The difference is not talent, it's persistence, it's grit, it's the ability to stand back up every time life knocks you down. When I started Alibaba, nobody believed in us. Investors laughed, experts doubted, competitors ignored us. We had no money, we had no technology, we had nothing except our vision. And that was enough, because vision is not just seeing what is in front of you. Vision is seeing what others cannot see. Vision is believing in a world that does not exist yet until you build it. Most people only believe when they see proof, but the true innovators, the game changers, they believe before the proof exists. They see first, and then they create. I want you to think about this. Every great company you admire today was once a crazy idea. Every famous leader was once an unknown person. Every invention was once impossible. The light bulb, the airplane, the internet, none of them were born out of certainty. They were born out of doubt and disbelief. The world laughed until they worked. That is how innovation happens. First they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, and then one day they copy you. The mistake most people make is waiting. They wait for the perfect idea, the perfect moment, the perfect plan. And in that waiting, they lose time. Time is the most valuable currency in life. You can lose money and earn it back. You can lose energy and recover it. But you can never recover lost time. You don't need perfect conditions to start. You just need the mindset to begin. Start with what you have. Start with where you are. Great things are built in motion, not in hesitation. You see, when you are young, you must learn to fail. School teaches you to avoid mistakes. Life teaches you that mistakes are the only way to learn. Failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is the foundation of success. Every time you fail, you learn what does not work, and eventually you find what does. But most people quit before they reach that point, because failure hurts, because it makes them doubt themselves, because they think failure means they are not good enough. But failure doesn't mean you are not good enough. It means you are strong enough to try. When I failed in school, people thought I was hopeless. When I failed in business, people thought I was foolish. When I failed in interviews, people thought I would never be successful. But I learned something in every failure. I learned resilience. I learned humility. I learned creativity. Most importantly, I learned that failure is not permanent unless you quit. If you keep trying, your failure becomes a story. If you quit, it becomes your reality. The choice is always yours. In my life, I have met thousands of smart people, but being smart is not enough. Being brave is more important. Being curious is more important. Being kind is more important. Because life will challenge your intelligence only a few times, but it will challenge your character every day. And if your character is weak, your success will collapse. That is why emotional intelligence is more valuable than knowledge. Wisdom is more powerful than information. And love is stronger than fear. Let me tell you something important. If you only work for money, you will never be rich. If you only work for recognition, you will never be respected. If you only work for comfort, you will never grow. But if you work for a mission, if you work for something bigger than yourself, if you work to serve others, money, recognition, and fulfillment will follow you. That is why the greatest leaders in history were not driven by greed, but by purpose. Purpose is the fuel that keeps you going when everything else collapses. Purpose is what wakes you up when there is no applause. Purpose is what makes you smile even when the world doesn't understand your work. So if you want to live a meaningful life, don't chase success, chase purpose, chase problems, chase what breaks your heart and fix it. Chase what inspires your soul and build it. Because the people who change the world are the ones who refuse to ignore it. Another thing I want to share, do not fear competition. Fear comfort. Competition forces you to grow. Comfort makes you lazy. Someone is always working harder than you. Someone is always dreaming bigger than you. Someone is always preparing while you are resting. That is why I never get comfortable. Even when Alibaba became one of the biggest companies in the world, I was never satisfied. Success is not an end, it's a beginning. It's a responsibility to do more, serve more, create more. Focus on improvement, not perfection, because perfection is an illusion. If you wait to be perfect, you will never start. If you wait for approval, you will never act. If you wait for certainty, you will never move. Confidence doesn't come before experience. It comes after experience. So let yourself begin imperfectly. Let yourself struggle. Let yourself learn how to grow. I want you to remember something. You are more powerful than you realize. The world will try to limit you. Society will try to label you. People will try to define you. But nobody can stop you unless you stop yourself. You are not finished at 30. You are not late at 40. You are not broken at 50. Every chapter of life has a purpose. You didn't come this far to only come this far. Most people fail, not because their dreams are too big, but because their mindset is too small. They dream with their eyes, not with their hearts. They limit themselves before the world limits them. But I want you to know this, you are capable of more than you can imagine. The world is waiting for your contribution. You just have to believe you are worthy of it. Look around you. The world is changing faster than ever. Technology is evolving. Industries are shifting. Opportunities are moving. But one thing will never change, the power of a human dream. Dreams built every great city. Dreams built every great company. Dreams built every great invention. Every great change in the world started with one person, one idea, one decision. And that person could be you. If you love this video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to get daily motivation video.